Now, what this basically all falls down into, really, when it comes to movement, it pretty much all falls down into, okay, what character am I going to be able to choose? Because a lot of characters move differently and feel different, and I know a lot of you already know this. So for example, if I was to go Mirai, my male Saiyan, he'd be a lot quicker and more swift than, say, if I was to choose Rael, my male Earthling, Mirai's son. So if I was to go a male Earthling, I'd have to pretty much rely on Ki Blast and Square Triangling a lot more than I would if I was to choose my male Saiyan, Mirai, which is, pretty self-explanatory. Now, a lot of people don't even really take this into consideration. This also falls down into, okay, what's the best way I can move with this character? Like, I can sidestep, you can double Ki Blast with everybody in the game, except for, like, Jocko and Hercule. They don't have a Ki Blast, of course. But, like, if I was to choose, like, the Wicked one or whatever, like, my, female Majin, or, like, Mona Lisa, as I would call her, she's pretty much a mix of, like, a male Earthling and a male Saiyan, just without as much range, because, for those of you that didn't know, female Majins and female Earthlings were recently, their range was recently nerfed. So it's a lot harder to actually hit opponents with these type of characters in CACs. So yeah, like a female Earthling, I have 2 female Earthlings. It's very hard to hit opponents with them. And then, like, I have a Namekian, which, he's Namekians. They're still the same. You got a Namek finger, and you could play Namekians pretty much how you would any other race or character in the game. Now, the female Saiyans, on the other hand, female Saiyans pretty much are the same. If anything, I low-key feel like they buffed the range on the female Saiyans, but that's besides the point. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is, she's like 2nd buffness, and Mirai is like 3rd buffness. I just made him 3rd buffness. But for, like, the male Saiyans and the male Earthlings, it doesn't really matter what height you make them, because a lot of people don't know this, but some CACs, the height that you make them, say for instance if I was to make my male Earthling max height, he'd be slower. That's why he's 3rd height. That's why a lot of people make 3rd height max buff to male Earthlings, because for one, they're going to do a lot of damage, they're going to take less damage because of their buffness, and they're going to have a lot more range. If I was to make him like 1st buffness, he's gonna have a lot more range. So that's also, a really good movement option, because he's gonna be smooth if you know how to use him, and if you know how to Ki Blast, but he's gonna be a lot slower. But Saiyans, on the other hand, they're all around. Like, they're extremely fast and strong at the same time. This is what a lot of people say. Oh yeah, male Saiyans are like the best in the game, which, yeah, a lot of people could debate about it. But from my personal experience, it kind of seems to me that, male Saiyans are pretty OP. They're pretty much on the OP end of the stick. Now, when it comes to, like, cast, there are a lot of casts in the game. Clearly, there are a lot of casts. Now, except for I also choose, like, Goku, Gohan, they pretty much feel the same. Here, let me go ahead and show some gameplay for you guys real quick.
I have to find out for myself.
This is like,
yeah, let's do it.
Get over here talking. LOL. Goofy dialogue. But, like, yeah, it's like, okay, you can move around, and Goku and Gohan pretty much move the exact same. Like, obviously Gohan hits a lot faster and he throws a lot more punches, but clearly you can see that, but they're around like the same somewhat movement. Like, they don't feel any different. Well, I don't know. Gohan is a little bit more swift than Goku, I'll definitely say that. But, like, when it comes to, like, range, Goku has the upper hand. He just has more range than Gohan naturally. Unless Gohan, like, transforms, then, it's about the same. But, yeah. Other than that, I know a lot of people were asking me, oh, you didn't show how to, like, do the double key stun in that video. Well, that is true. That's why I'm, like, making this advanced version, because I really didn't touch on a lot of topics. So, really, how you do that is it's just like, okay, how you can just Ki Blast. Now, a lot of people are just, like, confused because they see, like, oh, you're double Ki Blasting, how are you doing that? A lot of people actually get irritated about it because they don't know how to do it, and it's, like, pretty OP if you use it correctly. And a lot of people actually say that it takes no skill, but I'm gonna tell you this right now, it takes a lot of skill to do double Ki Blasting, like a lot of skill. It takes, like, one of the most skillful things you can do in this game, because you have to use it in the correct way. You just can't throw out Ki Blast and expect it to catch them and actually stun them and work in a like first to 5 or 1v1 scenario. It's not gonna happen. You gotta actually know how to move with this character. Now, since I'm using Goku and Gohan, what you're pretty much gonna want to do is Ki Blast, then sidestep. That's literally all it is. Now, it might seem simple at first, but the reason why it's such an advanced thing to do in this game is because of the camera angle. You see how the camera angle switches every time I key stun? And sidestep, you see that? You have to move according to the camera angle. So whenever you see that camera angle move, you have to move accordingly as well. You can't just I'm gonna sidestep and Ki Blast. Otherwise, that's gonna happen. You're gonna move forward. You see how I just move forward like that? You can't see, or you move back. Like, I honestly really haven't even mastered it like that, unless I'm like trying. See a lot of people, I'll finish people off like being goofy with it. You can do it with Gohan. I can show it with Gohan as well. Like, it really all depends on how much you practice with it. Like, it might seem hard at first, but you're gonna get it down. But that's literally pretty much all you have to do is like sidestep. Now, if I was using like, let's say Slug or like Pycon, because the way that they Ki Blast is like slower for some reason. I don't know why. But it really depends on the character. Because there are a lot of characters, their Ki Blast comes out a lot slower than, you know, a regular character. Yeah, he's pretty quick, but you know, it's very, very essential to Ki Blast. Like I've been saying for the longest, it's very, very essential to Ki Blast, especially when you're online. You know, a lot of people are just like against it because they think it's just spammy, and no, that's not the case at all. You have to Ki Blast. It's like trying to first to 5 somebody and they're using their supers and you're not. You're just gonna pretty much lose the fight 95% of the time just because you're not Ki Blasting or like using your moveset. You have to use your moveset. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to. I'm not saying that you, like, honestly, not really saying that you have to, but it really all depends on who you're fighting. But, you know, I can use like Pycon. Pycon is pretty much, he's very fast, obviously. Now, you see how I'm just like moving back? You don't want to do that. You're going to want to make sure you're moving with the camera. See how I'm just moving like this? Moving around him? You're going to want to practice that. You're going to want to practice moving around, especially in training mode. You know, you could practice online, because that's how I did it. I never really practiced in training mode. I just did it off of playing the game. But, you know, you could do it in training mode. It's going to be a lot easier to get good at it. But, you know, that's on you. But like, yeah, if I was to choose like Hit or Bardock or Cooler, you know, everybody can Ki Blast except, you know, Jocko and Hercule. But like, what's something else that I'm forgetting? I'm trying to think.
Worm.
Now, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, I don't use Broly because he's like big and slow. Well, believe it or not, this Broly is actually pretty fast if you know how to use him. Same with 21. A lot of people don't use 21 because she has like no range. But this all falls down into how to use this character. Now, a lot of people, you know, go Hit and Bardock, Goku, Gohan, you know, all these basic characters with like elbows, you know, trying to fly around them like that. You can't do that with 21, and you can't do that with Broly either. You can do it, but it's like it's easy to punish you, like very easy, and it doesn't have that much range. So pretty much what these characters, which you have to rely on, believe it or not, is literally just pressing square. And I mean that literally. Like, you could Ki Blast, you could do combos. But I literally, for these type of characters, like for example, God Vegeta, you know, Majube, all those characters, like Kid Buu, like all those characters that don't have a good forward square, but they have a lot of range when you just press square. But they made it like that for a reason. A lot of people don't know this. But those characters that have like trash forward squares, they're made to press square. And you could say that about Majin Buu, but Majin Buu has a square triangle, and he has a really good forward square, and he can get out of it, and he has like a really good square combos. Like you can just press square with Majin Buu as well, and just be really good. But like, yeah, this character, she's like a square character. For me, I'd call them square characters because they have a lot of range by literally just pressing square. Like, they're not meant to just forward square with. And this also falls down into movement, because if I'm just moving around you, trying not to get hit, and I go in for like a forward square, it's gonna be easy to punish you. Which is why I was like, okay, you can move around with these characters. You can move around, combo it with like square, triangle, like you could do a lot. Yeah, so if I was to just like, you know, go into a match, choose 21, I'm just gonna press square. I'm not gonna bother trying to forward square you, because for one, she can't get out of the way, she's stuck, and for two, it's too easy to punish. I could perfect block. Say for instance, if I was going against a 21 user, I could just perfect block you and then just start pressing square and hit you, or I could just grab you. Like, it's too easy to punish. That's why they gave him such good squares. You could do like the same with hit. You could do the same thing with pretty much everybody. Like, you could press square. A lot of characters have more range than others though, which is why I'm like, okay, I recommend you pressing square with the square character, or pressing forward square with the forward square character. That's why preset one hits elbow, like preset one hit. I'm not talking about custom or Woken. I'm talking about preset one hit. He has no range with that elbow. You notice that. Now, if I was to just press square with preset one hit, I'd be able to catch you every single time. And I'm about to. Alright, now, you see that this hits elbow. You see how I'm not able to just literally, you see how I'm not able to get out of the way at all? Like, I'm literally stuck. Like, here, look, I'm gonna use this example. I hit him, you hear me trying to get out of the way? I'm literally able to get out of the way like a second and a half second later, like almost 2 seconds. I'm just stuck and you can't move. This is an example of, he's a square character. Preset one hit is a square character. Now, if I was just moving around, you key blasting, you know, doing the key blast thing, and I was just pressing square, I'd be able to, you know, get out of the way, because I'm able to just, you know, not saying that you can't use preset one hits elbow. You could, and definitely keep pressing square afterwards, but it's going to be able to too easy to punish, and it's not going to have as much range. Now, that's why a lot of people, you see, you know, custom hit, I'm able to just get right out of the way, just like that. If I was using, you can't do that all with preset one hit, that's not gonna work. You're literally stuck. It's literally a whole like slowdown. But yeah, not saying that you can't use it, but it's gonna be too easy to punish, which is why I recommend you just pressing square. But you know, that's some little tips for hit, I guess. I don't freaking know. Okay, now say for example, right? You're in the ranks, you know, so it's a good day. Hop on Xeno just to let off some steam. You're fighting against a Broly user, and this Broly user is grab spamming you for no reason at all, just grab spamming. Now, a long time ago, I figured out a way to easily counter this, and I should have added this in the movement video, like the first one, but I'm glad I'm adding in this one because this is just a better version. But like, whenever somebody is grab spamming you, you do realize that you could, you know, sidestep it and get out of the way. Like, I can't show it in this clip, but I can show it in this clip that I'm going to show you guys now of me literally just sidestepping this dude's grab spam. And he's like in my face, like right up on me. Like, I think we all know how much range Broly's grab has, right? Now, that range is literally nothing when you're just simply sidestepping. Not zigzagging and flying around. I'm saying just like straight up just sidestepping. Like stepping back, moving forward. Like, it literally, he can't catch you. And that's how much iframes, a lot of people don't know how much iframes simply sidestepping gives you. A lot of people use this to their advantage instead of just, you know, snap vanishing around. You could do this because, you know, you move a lot faster when you do that, but I somewhat recommend you just sidestepping because it's a really good mechanic to use, especially against grass spam and Namek finger. Like, you can get out of Namek finger by simply sidestepping as well if you're able to time it right. That's pretty much how good sidestepping is. Now with God Vegeta, like I was like, you know, with the Salty Kibu, you see how he literally is just moving forward? as like with the punch. Now, I naturally, you know, everybody moves forward, but he's literally just moving forward, and it's just a continuous form of punches constantly, and you're even able to cancel it out. You know, with that certain combo everybody does. It's very easy. It's very, very easy, and God Vegeta actually has really good movement as well. You know, you could sidestep, like you saw me do. Hold on triangle a little bit. You can even, you know, do other combos into it. You know, Vegeta has pretty much, if you know how to use that character, they're gonna have good movement regardless of pretty much who you choose. Because everybody now, even the Saibamen, have really good movement. It's just it all comes down to you knowing how to play the game. Like, you can't just, alright, that guy vanishes, alright, I'm a forward square. He vanished again, I'm a forward square. He vanished again, I'm a forward square. No, you can't do that. You cannot do that. That's how people punish you very easily, and that's how, you know, a lot of you just get dropped off by pretty much everybody and anybody. Then you're like, oh, I got worse. No, it's just like you don't know how to use that character that you're using. It all comes down to, you know, having really good, like, you gotta know how to keep stun and move around. Now let's also, you could say, oh yeah, you could enter a flow state, which you could, but it's like you don't need to. It's not a must. It's not a required thing. You know, you could have, like, even Rai, like, I could do really I could do really good. Like, female Earthlings have good movement. Everybody has, even male Majins. Male Majins have good movement as well. It's just, you gotta know how to move when that camera angle is moving. A lot of you don't know how to do that. That's what I'm saying. You gotta practice it in training mode or in photo mode. Practice it on somebody and constantly, you know, do it. So it's gonna get easier and easier the more you do it, and then eventually you're gonna get it down, and you can use those same tips for everybody in the game, no matter who you're gonna go. You could go Hercule, Jocko, you know, you could go Pan, Saibaman. You could literally just move the same. It just you gotta know how to use that character. Like, you gotta know, like, I could use Broly. You know, he's a lot slower than a lot of other characters. But the thing about him is he has more range than a lot of other characters. So you gotta use that to your advantage. But, you know, that's pretty much that. It's not much that I touched on in this video that the last video didn't. I don't know if I repeated myself a couple times. Just tell me if I did. But hopefully this helped y'all out a little bit. I know a lot of people were asking me, and I thought I'd help y'all out and just tell y'all some little tips that I've recently, you know, figured out a little bit. And yeah, that's pretty much it.